So if you are going to be starting your own business, I probably would drop out. Yeah. But if you're going to go work into the workforce, I mean, now you have to have that degree, right?
Yeah.
You got to have it. There's no substitute for experience. I look at myself, and this is actually why I dropped out of high school, was it actually comes back to hockey.
Oh,
So
really?
this is kind of a good story. So the only ticket out was this whole, had to get a scholarship, right? And I remember watching. I started to not volunteer, but I wasn't on the varsity team, but I would go with the varsity team and bring their water bottles out.
So you were their bitch.
Yeah, I was their bitch.
Hey, water boy, check this out.
And 2 or 3 of the freshmen or whatever would volunteer to do that, and it was mentorship or whatever. I remember watching this varsity team, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I remember where I was standing. I remember watching them. I don't remember though if it was Mars, but I remember just watching them, and they were just so much better than me. And I was like, dude, come on, you don't stand a chance. And looking back as an athlete now, I'm like, I definitely stood a chance. I could have gotten a lot better. I could have worked out. I could have gotten better. But at the same time, I was starting to pick up business books. I had just finished reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is like my business Bible. Totally changed my life. At the time, I was also dating a girl who her dad was one of the most prominent business people in the community. So I had all this influence in the business world. And I was thinking I can go to college and get a business degree and then go into the business world or whatever. And watching this hockey game and then all this stuff is going on in my life. And I kind of had this realization of the commonality between all these really good players versus me is that they started way sooner. There's a guy, Colin Eddy, who I went to high school with. He eventually, I don't think he was drafted into the NHL, but he was signed by the Flyers.
Wow.
He was just a ridiculously good player. I think he played for the Phantoms in the AHL.
Gotcha.
And then he went over to England or something, and then he retired there. But either way, he started playing when he was 4. I started playing when I was 11, 12.
Yeah.
At that age, that is a world of difference. So, and I had always been thinking about that. So I'm watching this team play. I'm reading these business books. I knew time mattered. And I was like, what if I were to switch and get into that whole business thing now?
That is a great idea.
I didn't know what that meant. Didn't know where it would go or anything. But it was if I get into it now, when all these guys are, graduating college, I'll be 10 years ahead of them. So I'm 32 now. I've owned my own business since I was 14. So I have I don't even know the math, 18 years of experience, and I'm 32. Most people who are graduating college with an MBA, they might have 7 years of experience at this point. For me, that's why I made the decision to drop out of high school, was to get that early start. So I think going back to your question of, if you're going to be starting your own business or something like that, I definitely think, you're going to have a lot of people who tell you don't do it. Just make the jump and go and get actual real life experience. You're going to make a shit ton of mistakes. You're going to fall on your face many, many times. You're going to question yourself over and over and over and over again. But there's no substitute for real world experience.
There it is.
There's no substitute for that.